Hello and welcome everyone to Disco Elysium, the final cut. We are back in Mercenaries, and last time we found out more about the lady driver after pressuring Tommy a little bit more, which I hated, but now we got a little more information, and we got to talk to the Hardy Boys about the whole thing. She seems to be the latest member, the missing member. And then we also have to talk to the Wild Pines lady, whose name I always forget. So first I want to talk to the Hardy Boys again. And then we have the whole other side of town that we have to explore even further. We only got to the very beginning of the fishing village there. We also have to talk to Everard again, tell him that we opened the door for him. So, bunch of stuff to do.
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here.
Guess what? I've connected you to the local drug trade.
Like hell you have. There is no local drug trade. This place is as clean as a rifle. Go back to Jamrock and ask the local junkies how clean your streets are in Precinct 41 Kilos.
Okay.
We'll do that. In the meantime, did you know that there's an abandoned lorry at the intersection that was used to move raw ingredients for drugs from Terminal B to Jamrock? The person driving it was present at the hanging. It was one of you. We've connected the footprints. Detective, do you want to deliver the coup de grace?
No.
Coup de
the thunder
grace.
is his. Leave it to the lieutenant.
Yeah, let's give it to Kim. He deserves this. No, do the honor. You've earned it.
Thank you. You're right, Titus. There is no local drug trade because it's all controlled by you. You're the drug trade.
That's a mighty interesting theory. I guess that's what you would need to do, theoretically. A big, strong, state-run monopoly would outcompete the runts on the street.
Yeah, man. Theoretically, that's what you would do. To get rid of the gangs, the dealers, even some of the junkies.
You would need good, trustworthy people to take their place, of course. Hardy men to run such a monopoly. For the good of the community, of course.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that. I know for a fact there's still plenty of drugs out there. Because we try them all.
No, there aren't. Some little shit and his dad are doing speed. Who fucking who? The stuff's probably from Jamrock.
Whatever you've seen is peanuts. Look at the big picture, man. The place is a paradise. And all thanks to Hardy Boys.
Theoretically, of course.
Mm-hmm.
We're just talking politics here. My answer to your drug accusation is, how dare you? Go fuck yourself.
Not
Okay.
quite yet, Mr. Hardy. There were 8 sets of prints on the crime scene. There are only 7 Hardy Boys here.
The 8th Hardy, the one who's missing, she runs the thing, right?
My answer is, fuck off. Mind your own business. There is no 8th Hardy. I run this goddamn scene.
Finally, you got something out of him. This could prove useful in the future.
Uh-huh.
And here we go. Back to the usual.
I know! Fatty walked on all fours. He's so fucking fat he left 2 sets of footprints. Go fuck your mom, Dennis.
That's more like it, boys. You heard him. It was
Okay.
Angus on all fours. Anything else you need to know?
Okay, so we get lots of pluses here, but still only a 3% chance. So we might have to return here. We're putting on the pressure though, which is good.
I've got nothing to say to you. Why are you wasting your time?
Pointed out to me, it was pointed out that I may be able to
Can I help you?
stay here now for free, but before you give him the ruffed grouse. Guard, what a new bird for the whirling.
What is this thing?
Man takes the stuff, but it's no biggie. I just thought it would look nice on the wall. I'm that kind of cop.
What, the interior decorating kind? You know, I'm sorry. This is actually a nice bird. A competent piece of tax.
Thank you.
Well, I can fix it to the plaque and have a new bird in the establishment, I guess. So, I don't know. Thank you. I'm gonna go with thank you.
People just don't know how to accept gifts, especially taxidermy. He likes it.
He likes the bird. It solves his broken bird problem.
I feel good about our work here today. It's all about the little things, like bringing people random stuffed animals.
Right, Kim? You get it.
It's not actually about that, but he liked it.
Guard, I need to sing karaoke now.
No, you don't. It's not happening.
Yeah, but Johnny Long is about to tear it up sad style.
The whirling doesn't need more sad style. That's one of the styles it can do without right now.
It's part of my quest of self-discovery. Help me.
The whirling's not a charity or a musical therapy clinic. It's a commercial establishment. You're going to scare away the customers.
But you even have the PA system if no one's going to use it.
It's for no one. It's a prop. I'm not letting anyone use it after the great karaoke catastrophe of 44.
The Great Karaoke Catastrophe? What happened in 44?
A lot of people got killed because some arsehole wanted to sing karaoke.
It's not a prop. It's for your clients. I know it's used.
Okay, yes, it's for some clients.
He admits reluctantly. I'm a real client. I've paid my bills. I have the right to use the karaoke machine.
Ha! Well, we don't have any tapes. They all got stolen.
Oh, it's all right. I have my own song with me.
The man in the vest and the violet shirt stares at the tape you've just given him. He begins to frown. Hard.
Fine, fine. Climb on that stage and do your thing. Just get out of my hair. I'll plug it in for you. Damn this karaoke machine.
I'm having it uninstalled, he mumbles to himself. Oh yeah, time to do the damage.
We will do that in a second. I'm excited.
Got the 20 real?
No, I do not. I guess I can't stay here for free. There was something Everett said. I remember that as well, but not sure about the specifics. It's karaoke time.
The stage is all set up for your performance. Feels silent. You can hear the pellets creak under your feet. You feel a little dizzy, a little unsteady suddenly.
So, are you ready for your thing now? Let me know when I should turn on the karaoke carousel.
Look, Kim, I'm going to sing karaoke.
I can see that.
The lieutenant steps away from the stage, ready for your performance. Put lips against the microphone. Test it.
Immediately, a loud feedback noise startles the room. You feel like an amateur. How are you supposed to hold the mic? Should you just sing into it? Where should you stand?
Okay, -1. Look around the
There
room.
are some people out there, but mostly a post-meridian slumber has fallen on the premise. Not super lively. It would be wiser to perform in the evening, no? But the choice is yours.
Yeah, I think we will do that in the evening, because then we also have the disco lights, and I definitely want to perform under the disco lights. So We will return in the evening and put up an incredible performance. Meanwhile, we do some side quests, like talking to the Wild Pines lady whose name I always forget. The karaoke is our main quest. Always has been, always will be. Alright. How late is it? It's 3 p.m. only. That's pretty early still. Oh, there's something down there that we couldn't see before because now we have super perception. Etched into the word barely visible. Remember the rest is lost to time. Okay.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Not an umbrella, I hope. I don't need one myself, you see.
I could use a coat like that. The rain is freezing.
Sadly, I need this one myself. It's hydrophobic, repels water, almost magically. The company makes them for offshore platform personnel. Very sturdy. What I can do for you is answer some questions. Nothing like talking to pass a rainy day.
I spoke with the lawman. Yes.
Yes, my eyes on the harbor have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered?
Wait, where exactly are these eyes located?
It doesn't really matter. And I do apologize for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this. In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation? I assume you discovered there is an operation.
She's trying to conceal her excitement, but the slight glimmer in her green eyes tells you otherwise.
If there is an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to confidentiality. I am sure you understand.
Of course, detectives.
I want to give her
In
more
any case,
information
you've
than
held
we
up
have
your
to.
end of our arrangement. I trust you with the rest. Now it's my turn.
Yes, finally.
I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands.
What was that about a bloodbath?
Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivershoal West.
Since you are sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be.
I've already heard about a connection between the lynching and strike, but I need your testimony.
I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail.
A momentary lapse of faith?
They were dispatched after I relayed the union's initial offer.
Every worker...
A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric or a joke. They did not appreciate the humor.
Do you need a security detail?
Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they, exactly?
Crenell, an Oranese military company.
Okay.
As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, Our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the Colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him.
So that that story actually matches the one that we heard from the Hardys.
He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night.
What then?
Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbor. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenell contractors carry out their orders, for now.
For now?
It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
I have to say, this is not Disco.
It is very far from Disco. My only hope is that you provide a single, concrete suspect before the mercenaries indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put...
She grabs hold of the mainsail.
If you don't pin this on someone good, and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
The débardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty.
Okay.
These men work in tandem using semi- and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all. As I said, a bloodbath.
Isn't this a pretty bleak scenario you're describing?
Many bleak scenarios have already come true, Lieutenant W. Frater Dubois. All we can do is keep the rest from going the same way. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation.
Okay, so this changes a lot. So basically there are these contractors and they are running about doing their own tribunal investigation, and if we don't actually get a single suspect out of this and arrest someone, then they will pretty much kill everyone who was at the lynching, which would be the entire group of the Hardy Boys. Which would not be good, because that would then spark pretty much a small-sized civil war here. Not good, not good. What can you tell me about Crenell?
Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell.
Down a deep, black well.
They boast a long list of clients. Saint-Baptiste, Welchman-Lorenz, Eintracht. A warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in third or fourth world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such.
Meaning they're used to operating in war zones.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors, Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands, countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil.
Okay, anything else you got on them?
Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources. If you still have access to the ICP's database, You could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
Yeah, we could check. We had those serial numbers from the boots, but we couldn't really nail anything down that was too specific. So maybe we can contact our dispatcher again.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ACP, ma'am?
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Crenell.
Did you contact the company, tell them to call them off?
I have, and they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
You said the deceased assaulted a woman?
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it.
Who did the passing on, though?
The remaining contractors. Their tribunal. It's what they believe.
What did these teenagers by the canal say?
That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
Okay, so it's not really verified, since that is the story that the Hardy Boys are spreading and the Union is in control here, but it at least makes it more likely.
The lieutenant consults his notebook, his eyebrows knitted in concentration.
Odd. We haven't heard any reports about an assault in connection with the lynching. Where did it take place?
Did they?
And when?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too.
Yeah, we heard that he was like causing a racket at the bar. Didn't Titus tell us that? Reluctantly.
Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him.
And who was this woman?
That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor about a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's remaining colleagues believe.
You'll meet her soon enough, you feel.
This colonel, the one who was hanged, did you know him?
If you mean did I see him alive, yes. But I did not know him.
You don't know how you know. It's not written on her face, nor in her voice, but she had sympathy for this man.
His name was...
Lely. His service name. A nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one.
Tell me about the others first.
One is a man. Corty, they call him. A nickname as well. The other a woman. Phyllis DePaul. Corty is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio operator.
What would you say was his eye color, the deceased?
She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face, then shakes her head.
I can't remember.
A pang of regret in her voice.
That's all right, ma'am. Anything else? Nationality? What would you say was his age?
He was 40. Or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age, or gauge his facial expressions.
Now that I think about it, when we sent off the body and did our little field autopsy, out of the weirdness of our heart, we we requested semen samples, or like a check for semen samples or other sexual activity, because we had the sense from talking to the corpse that he enjoyed being hanged. But now, and then Kim was very skeptical about that approach, understandably so. But I think that might actually pay off, potentially, because if he sexually assaulted someone the day or the night of the lynching, we might find something with that test, which then might confirm that he assaulted someone, or at least gives us stronger evidence that he did. So that might actually turn out to be crucial.
Indeed, this matches the dental reconstruction we saw on the body. What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was, Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oranese, or Messinian, maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it, through the injury. And that's all I know, I guess. I only met him once.
Where are the remaining 2 mercs now?
They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting.
We still need to know where they are.
You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
Scab leader murder, bad reply. Clothes didn't fit right. Oh, the scab leader might be one. One who's yelling in front of the... Oh, that means maybe we... Oh. Okay. 58 chance. We have very low logic. We would be so much better with better logic. Nope.
This is so embarrassing. You have no idea. There's something wrong with your brain. Luckily, the lieutenant still has his.
Ma'am, with all due respect, I've been around Martinez, and there's a giant hulk of a man in ill-fitting clothes at the harbor gates. Mr. Right to Work. His heart really isn't in it.
Not a terribly good actor, that one.
So that must be the
Still.
gunner.
And the other one, the Pole, must be in one of the 4-story buildings overlooking the roundabout. She was reporting back to you while we were canvassing the lorry drivers.
That would afford a good vantage point. Still, I hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest.
I wonder if that may be connected with the bookstore, the ghost. Maybe the radio operator is the entity. How much time do we have?
Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob and their impatience.
They don't report their progress to you?
Or maybe, wait. Wasn't the lady that we very first talked to in the Whirling in Rags the one that we was outside of our room? I think Klaas here was her name. She constantly is on the rooftop of the Whirling in Rags. We saw her there a few times, but we couldn't really talk to her again. And I feel like I can remember that she is also Oranese. So maybe she's... Oh boy, this all makes me very, very paranoid.
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative.
There's a brief silence. Seagulls squawk over the bay.
5 days, not more. Maybe sooner.
Uh-oh.
It's a matter of days, not weeks.
Okay.
I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, please
Now, can you
ask.
tell me about these tattoos?
Of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
Reaches over the guard wire and takes the photo, holds it in her hands. About half a minute.
For about half a minute in silence.
Okay, just said that.
She wears fingerless gloves. Her fingernails are cut short and fractured, like those of a working woman.
It was taken with a Interrogate not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands or legs.
I think we will stay quiet and observe the woman's expression.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo's surface. She has no excess of emotions for this cadaver. Has she seen dead bodies before? It's likely.
What do you think?
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. The stars.
He points to one on the photo paper.
I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent.
Like stars in the sky.
Close. Port cities. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. Over 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels.
What is the use of this map?
The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by. The silver cord, they would call it.
Where is he now?
I've spoken to him. For now, the soul is fastened inside his core.
That is precisely what the sailors feared when they drew these maps. A fear of drowning within one's own corpse.
What travels did the dead man make?
Quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder. He started somewhere near here, I think.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grangi, through what I think must be the Stutz Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Pretto, he sailed to the Insulindic Ocean, first the Semines Islands, then this.
What is that?
Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after the discovery of Insulinde, at the dawn of the Inter-Islary Age.
You said you can't read it.
I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning.
Somewhere in an office lit by a single green desk lamp, Captain Ptolemaeus Price, 58, bald and bespectacled, is writing in a ledger on his desk. Rows and rows of days and weeks, laconic remarks in a single column. Patrol, case, vacation, injured. In Martinez, looking into Krenel, he writes in one. Then the man puts down his pen and rubs his temples with both hands. Outside, there is a siren. Distant gunshots on the streets of the Jamrock Quarter.
This man is no brother of mine, but this is his service history.
That makes sense to me. We have no more use for a map of the waterways, just like we don't need sailors the way we used to. This is what the custom would morph into on the Occident. Mercenary tattoos.
You could tell me more.
His platoon members? The other contractors. Though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend.
Oh man.
And comrade.
It could go this or the other way. Maybe if you're tactful, it could be beneficial.
I need information.
Do what you have to do, Detective Dubois. I don't think deciphering that tutu should come before public security. But if you should wade into the mob to find out, I couldn't stop you.
We will be careful, ma'am.
It's all about the tattoos.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Don't think for now, but that was very, very interesting. Okay. I wanted to level up physical instrument because that is what we need for the bookstore. And now that we heard that the radio operator might be in one of the tall buildings around the roundabout, I wonder if the entity may be the radio operator. I also, before I do that, I wanted to go back to our car, to Kim's car, to see if we can request some information.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
Let's check the fuel preheater gauge.
As you tap on the gauge, the indicator pin jerks as if startled. It's in the large orange sector, indicating the engine is warm. Next to the gauge is a red switch labeled heat.
Now, that's enough fun with the foldable headlights. I know they are mesmerizing. They're also fragile. I'm not going to turn it on for you again.
Let's pick up the radio.
57. How may I assist you?
Did you find out more about the owner of the armored boots?
Sorry, sir. I still haven't heard back from the database people. Try calling again later. Is there anything else I can do for you?
Please connect me to
Just
Sylvia
a second,
again.
officer.
Let's just double check if she has something to say.
Sylvie Malaika. Yes. Hello?
Hey Sylvie, it's the police again.
Oh, great. What else do you need, detective?
Have you seen my gun?
Please, no. Not this again. Everyone
Uh-oh.
saw your cool gun, detective.
Did you my gun? When did it happen?
You were trying to impress some people with it. Everyone was eating, and
And what? What did I do?
you were waving it around in everyone's face, begging them to describe it. You said it calms you, and then you started making suicide jokes. It got pretty graphic.
I remember this. You were screaming things like, "My brains are all over the wall," painting them red. I won't be seeing it, 'cause these are my brains. I can't see without my brains. Very nice visuals there.
Oh.
Some poor sod was trying to eat his pudding while you were screaming, spit flying, imitating the mercy shot right next to him. Spat some in his food. I don't think he touched it after.
Okay, I don't know what to say.
Me neither.
Yes, but what happened to my gun?
No idea. All I know is next you were waving around money instead, saying things like big butts cannot lie and guns can't buy money, but money can always buy guns. It almost looked like you pawned it, but believe me, I did not ask.
Okay.
You hear
We
the
already knew that we
Anything else
pawned
I can
it.
help you with, officer?
Not right now.
In the cabin, you see a set.
Okay, so we leveled up again. I'm gonna check what kind of thoughts we have here. Could unlock another slot. Would have the apricot chewing gum. Bringing of the law. Law jaw. Raspberry Gemrock Shuffle. Let's do it. Let's unlock another one and think either the law or the Gemrock Shuffle. You like to look into containers. I mean, that sounds like us. Let's do the Gemrock Shuffle. Okay, now that I I leveled up my physical instrument. I want to check if I can try the furnace again.
A thick layer of coal dust
And
covers the furnace,
97%
coloring
now.
it pitch black.
Okay.
Something
Nailed it.
breaks loose in you. A mighty bellow echoes throughout the chimney's depths. The chatter of tiny voices above suddenly cease. Then,
Oh, a woman's voice, which, okay.
you've awakened the entity.
This is the remote viewers division. Identify yourself.
Hello? Did you say anything? I can't hear you. Please come upstairs. There's a safety curtain on the second floor. I'll open it.
You hear a low rumble upstairs, the sound of a curtain being pulled aside.
After you, officer.
Okay. So we know that the radio operator is a woman. Funny, I could. Oh boy, it's so dark. No. Wake up. Here. Okay. What is all this? A tray full of dyes, colorful polyhedral dyes, hundreds of them. The candy dispenser has been repurposed to contain thousands of dyes. Novelty
Hello.
dice maker.
I'm Nia.
A bird-like woman sits on a throne of tools with emerald light shining through her hair.
Did you try knocking on my window? I must have missed you. I've been listening to my Melius.
Taps on her headphone.
So what kind of dye are you looking for?
Could this be the malicious entity? Perhaps it's wise to go along with this masquerade for now. She's got a direct view to the backyard. You should interrogate her about the lynching.
Hold on, what do you mean by milieux?
Yes, Amelia is like a call-in station. You need a two-way radio to access one. That's why I have these.
Okay, so she has a radio up here.
Mostly, they just teach you to swear in different languages. But some of the stations can be quite interesting. I was so absorbed, I must have missed you knocking.
Must have me confused with someone else. I have knocked on your window.
Then how did you get inside? By the south entrance? You know what? It doesn't even matter. What matters is that you're finally here. Let's talk dice. Did you have something specific in mind?
Why are you asking me about dice?
I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing system and I'll make the die you need. That's why you're here, yes?
As she speaks, her bone-like fingers fiddle with a ring. Her bones light, but her hands strong. Role-playing games? You know the one made by Fortress Accident. Does that count?
Sure, I like role-playing games and I need some dice.
Very good. My rate is 10 real per set.
10?
Unless you want something really unusual. Take a look around and see if there's any particular stone you want to use.
The walls around here are covered with rows of precious stones and minerals.
This person means you, or no one else, absolutely no harm. She will answer freely and honestly.
How did you become a dice maker?
How did I become one? It was a business decision. I was a regular jeweler at first, but that's an unfocused field with too much competition. Some of my friends were role players. They asked me to make some polyhedral dice out of cobalt. That was my first order. I grew it from there.
You like role-playing games yourself?
Not especially. I like working with rare materials and a steady pay. And role players as customers? They're nice people.
Some of those nice people have big bucks to spend on novelty items. She's thankful for the security they provide her.
What do you know about the man who was lynched behind the whirling racks?
Nothing really. I didn't know him.
Who cares about the dead body? We might be dealing with a malignant entity here.
Fair enough.
The lieutenant looks at his notebook, then the woman under the large window.
Your window looks directly onto the courtyard. You're saying you didn't see or hear anything unusual last Sunday evening?
I'm sorry, detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out most of the daily ruckus behind my window.
What do you mean by daily ruckus?
Well, there's always something going on in the whirling's backyard.
You stop to try and come up with an example.
During daytime, there are usually those kids. And lately, I've been seeing a lot of drunk workers hanging about. Must be because of the strike.
She's not sorry to disappoint you. Informing on someone in a murder investigation would intrude upon her focused existence.
But I never saw anyone during that fateful Sunday night, I'm afraid.
And you never took your eyes off the work to look out of the window?
I might have, but in this case, all I would have seen is my own reflection staring back from the darkness. It's really hard to make anything out in the yard when it's dark outside. Besides, I rarely get up to look out the window when I'm in the zone.
This person values focus above all. She keeps her sharp sight on the instruments before her.
Do you often work Sunday nights?
It's an odd profession, making dice for people, but I like it, and I prefer doing this to sitting at home.
Okay, I see. Thank you for your answers.
She nods.
Anything else, officer?
So, where are we anyway? What is this place?
We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know.
He looks at the ruddy bricks that make up the walls. Even though they've been repainted, there are still signs of coal, like soot here and there.
But when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to build myself a makeshift home. Besides, I don't really have to pay any rent.
Okay, so
here,
she has been here
that's
for a
plus.
while, so maybe she's not the
Plaisance was right.
other
There's an
mercenary.
entity living in the chimney. You should ask her about the curse.
Creative.
I've heard this place is cursed. Did you know that people call it the doomed commercial area?
I've heard the stories, but I don't think those stories are true.
Wait, how do you explain what happens to all those companies then?
It's just capitalism. We only hear about tales of success, so it's often surprising to realize how many ventures actually fail.
Plaisance is the one who sent me. She's convinced that the place is swarming with malicious energies.
Plaisance, the bookshop lady? I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energies spared her somehow?
Actually, the bookstore isn't doing that well. There are hardly any customers, and she has to exploit her own daughter to keep the company going.
Oh, right. But it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. What about the whirling in racks? Some people say it's part of the building complex.
Hold on, the whirling is part of the doomed commercial area?
You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the East of the Commerce Central project.
No, the whirling isn't doing well either. Its waitress just took off and customers have trouble paying bills. Customers.
And then there is me.
Besides, looking at her messy work table, all kinds of tools lie there scattered, from knives to carving files to wire cutters.
I've been here for 14 years, selling novelty dice to role-playing enthusiasts. Not exactly a million-real business idea, yet somehow I've survived despite the talk of malicious energies. Strange, isn't it?
Plaisance thinks it's because you are the source of it, a malignant entity.
Malignant entity? What does that even mean? Some kind of sorceress? What about you, officer? Do you think I'm the malignant entity?
Time has come to face the source. Fear not, for the forces of the universe are supporting you in this psychic quest.
I think it still might be you that's causing this.
So I'm the Grand Dragon in the cave. Might I ask what supports this claim?
I yelled to summon the ghost of the doomed commercial area, and you were the one who answered.
Oh my, I've revealed myself. You better call the exorcists.
I believe the name you're looking for is the Remote Viewers Division. Thank you very much.
What's that? A union for clairvoyance? They have unions for everything nowadays.
No, it's a special division in the police for investigating supernatural activities.
She just stares at you for a moment with an astonished look on her face, blinking.
It's not real, ma'am. He's making it up.
Yes, I figured. Well, if you ever find a way to explain all those inconsistencies in the curse, then let me know.
Turns back to
Plaisance
her work.
needs to hear about this. Perhaps if you combine your psychic energies, you will make sense of the situation.
Do you know what happened to other tenants? Everyone else is gone.
More or less. Are you interested in anyone specific?
There used to be a hair salon here, right?
Yes, I think it was called Androgynous Orlando or something similar. They weren't a big hit around here. Turns out that working class men don't like genderless haircuts. They're scared of that word.
You wouldn't like it either. The others would laugh at you.
What's wrong with a bit of experimenting? The customers should have been more open-minded.
I guess it just wasn't the time yet.
What happened to the gym?
It wasn't merely a gym, it was Artemitep's boxing club. A community project created to steer at-risk youth away from drugs and crime.
And who was Artemitep?
A kind man from Zemsk. I heard he had some trouble with the law when he was younger, and that's why he wanted to start the gym, as his way of giving back.
Maybe that's what Kuno needs, a community-centric boxing club.
Kuno? Who's Kuno?
He's a little ginger gremlin who likes to defile dead bodies.
Oh yes, you mean the kid with the sailor's mouth. Yes, I've heard him yelling profanities in the backyard.
She looks out of the window. It's awfully quiet there at the moment.
I think it would take more than a gym to help that kid.
How did the community project work out?
It didn't. If anything, it made the youth situation in Martinez even worse. At some point, someone started a rumor that the punching bag downstairs was full of amphetamines. Eventually, the coalition took away the funding and the club went bankrupt. This was a few years ago. It's gotten much more peaceful around the plaza ever since.
What's up with the broken windows?
Oh, this one's a mess. There used to be a company that promised to repair windows 24 hours a day. What could go wrong with this one, right? Turns out, the business was actually set up as a front for an illicit group that was producing snuff milias. Who would have guessed?
Oh.
And they never cleaned up the debris either. Now it's just littering the hallway and I have no idea how to get rid of it on my own.
Cool. Very cool about the debris. But what's a snuff milieu?
It's a sub-Rosa radio station that broadcasts real murders with real victims. Some people pay good money to get off on it.
Don't worry, the ICP has a separate division that deals exclusively with unlicensed sub-Roses. This isn't our problem.
Good luck with that. It's not easy catching those perpetrators.
Someone here makes stuffed animals. I saw mounts lying around.
You mean Mr. Fabron, the taxidermist? No, he mostly just did drugs. Anything else?
He was basically like us. I found creepy mannequins.
There used to be a fashion atelier here, but I have forgotten the head designer's name. They were doing well for a couple of years, until the insect rights activists came.
Insect rights activists? What in the name of?
Mm-hmm. The atelier produced a certain collection that used chitin among the materials. Apparently chitin is made in the Occident, where it's extracted from beetle wings. And you know how all kinds of political movements are big in the Occident. The activists shut down the biggest chitin supplier, which of course caused the price to skyrocket. And, naturally, all the most fashionable tastemakers refused to be seen in chitin from then on. The atelier went bankrupt before they could finish the collection.
I'm glad that someone took care of the little guys. I like insects.
Really? Anyway.
Poor guy. Suddenly, you get a feeling that insects are important to the case somehow. It's hard to say why.
Oh. What's with the rotor blades and skids?
They were made by a company called Slipstream. After they pivoted from making rotor blades to skis, their chief executive took off on a vacation with all their money.
Oh.
Honestly, I think it's quite funny. I think he's still sending out holiday transmissions from Tulula or Tiumotiri or Hashtkor or wherever he is.
Interesting. What do these transmissions say?
The usual, I imagine. That he's been thinking up all kinds of new business plans and can't wait to get started on them just as soon as he returns.
Her smile widens before she sees the lieutenant's face behind her.
Men like that are a curse.
Oh.
Sure, but Slipstream is history now. All their remaining assets got seized by the bailiffs in 47. I have no idea why those skids and blades are still lying around in the house. Not much use now, I guess.
On a strange machine.
Fortress Accident, the radio game studio.
Close her eyes as some remnant of memory lights up her face.
She liked them.
They were an interesting bunch. We talked about role-playing systems every now and then. Once, I even saw two of them get into fisticuffs over Wirral. They certainly took their work very seriously, even if they seemed to be chronically liberal with their schedules.
What do you mean liberal? What happened?
The usual. They ran out of money and couldn't get the project done on time.
What went wrong?
Well, I did hear them talking at times.
She looks at the hallway as if she can hear them chit-chat behind her curtains on a cigarette break.
They seemed to believe they were historical individuals on some grand quest.
From what I've seen so far, the project did look quite impressive.
Yes, but when the money started to run out, they just began to complain a lot about capitalism. You know, how the markets are rigged to keep out new businesses and so on. In the end, they just didn't get it done. They didn't have enough willpower to produce something truly historic, and to show up to work on time.
Well, showing up to work on time is incredibly hard.
And so is producing something extraordinary.
Eyes wanders to the shelves full of die prototypes and discarded
Something
models.
strains her face before she looks up again.
Anything else?
There was a terrifying taxidermy bear in the cellar.
Oh boy, the fabled Revachol ICT. You're in for a treat here. The place was owned by two guys who had some rather innovative ideas about marketing. The bear was one of them. Now ask me about their other ideas.
Alright, what about the other ideas?
There was really just one. And it involved picking out the prettiest girls in the neighborhood and paying them 20 cents per hour to man the booth. And by man the booth, I mean slump behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you ever dared to disturb their bored magazine browsing.
Oh, like the girl in Frit.
Sounds like she really didn't like those girls. Fritta does the same thing.
I know a girl just like that. She works in Frit as a cashier. She's not particularly friendly.
Employing soaky teenage girls is a widespread practice, yes. Unfortunately, they always come in packs. I'm talking about acne-ridden girlfriends and gorilla-like boyfriends loitering near the shop. At least that's what happened with Ravachol ICT. And they already had the bear.
What about the bear?
The bear.
She repeats, pressing thumbs into her temples like trying to suppress a headache. It didn't work out?
Of course not. The bear was terrifying. No one wants ice cream guarded by a hostile apex predator.
Fair enough.
To make matters worse, the fridge didn't work too well either, and half the ice cream came out malformed and partially melted. Eventually, Ravachol ICT lost the price war to its rival, Glace 5000. Glace 5000 sold caramel sundaes for only 5 cents a piece, out of regular fridges.
I'm sure the bear was doing its best.
Maybe, because the taxidermist who made that bear definitely wasn't. Doing his best, I mean.
How come?
He said that the bear was his vision beast. He said he met his vision beast while high on desiccants. Called it Megatherian.
Megatherian?
Megatherian. A mega wild beast.
What's a mega wild beast?
It's an imaginary beast that guides you through life. By telling you to do more drugs, mostly.
The horrific necktie tightens around your neck, strangely excited. But it doesn't feel particularly fun this time around.
I do drugs. I've got a vision beast myself.
Do you? Well, good luck keeping it under control. Anyway, now you know the story of the fallen ice cream empire.
Little sparkling embers under the window.
Anything else? Another failed business, perhaps?
I found the
I've
building's
been here for a
intercom,
long
but
time.
it's not working.
Oh, right. I hope you didn't try to ring me. I think none of those doorbells work, including mine. I'm still in the middle of connecting the wires. Sorry about the confusion.
You tell me that you have a doorbell there? Which one?
The one with an empty name card. It's the last one in the list. As I said, it's quite useless right now. It doesn't work yet.
I have a few questions about the building.
Sure, I'm listening.
Okay, actually not.
Good. I hope it clarified things a bit. What else?
I'd like to order a die from you.
Of course. Tell me what you have in mind.
Ooh. I want a curse die.
What do you mean by cursed?
As cursed as this commercial area.
Alright, how about I surprise you? Come back in 8 hours with 7 real, and
Okay.
I'll give you your cursed die.
Okay.
Great, see you in 8 hours then. Was there anything else?
17%, do we want to try it? Let's try it.
A gust of cold air sweeps through the chimney. The stones and minerals on the shelves.
Let's see why she's
rattle as though
successful.
Agitated. For a moment, it almost feels as though you're outside the building, exposed to the atmosphere.
Hey, now, the curse is real, and I figured out why it has spared you.
Didn't we already talk about this?
It's because you're not in the same building as the others. This isn't technically the doomed commercial area.
What are you talking about? My address is exactly the same. Rue de Saint-Guilain 10.
No, the old coal plant that used to be here was subsumed into the new venture. Its ruins swallowed up. Yet it has a different address in the heart of the city.
No, this used to be a coal plant. You're in a chimney of another building.
This doesn't make any sense.
She looks around the makeshift nest that she has carved out for herself, bewildered.
Are you saying my business was spared because of a technicality? Where is this coming from?
Let's say I have my own methods. Unusual methods.
And what? Does it mean that I'm safe from failure?
Don't let her become complacent. She still needs to ward her soul against the evil forces.
Actually, it's only your workshop that's protected. You should still do something to defend your person. What?
Do you know what this is?
Raises hand to reveal a piece of metal shining on her index finger. A lucky charm? Seminese ward?
It's a mourning ring. I made this when my first company failed. It was a small jewelry shop right here in the East Delta Commerce Center, built with the little I inherited from my parents. I drove it into the ground within a year. I didn't have what you would call a viable business plan.
See, the curse is real. I bet you didn't run this little jewelry shop from the protective depth of the chimney.
No, you're right. I didn't. It wasn't just a jewelry shop either. I always thought that it was just the world that you were supposed to try again and again until you finally succeed. And now you're telling me what? That it was all because I didn't run my little shops and ventures from a dump inside an abandoned chimney?
Don't call it a dump. You've made it nice and cozy here.
Yeah. Or maybe it's the entire world that's cursed. It's such a precarious place. Nothing ever works out the way you want it. That's why people like role-playing games. You can be whoever you want to be, you can try again. Still, there is something inherently violent even about dice rolls. It's like every time you cast a die, something disappears. Some alternative ending, or an entirely different world.
Picks up a pair of dice from the table and examines them under the light.
But anyway, thanks for sharing your theories, officer.
You're welcome. Well, that was very interesting. So she doesn't seem to be the radio dispatcher for the mercenaries, but we figured out the whole thing about the evil entity in the Doom commercial area, and we will talk to Plaisance probably next time. Thank you all for watching today's episode. We learned a lot about what's going on here and in our and about our case. If you enjoyed it, please give the video a like, maybe consider subscribing to the channel, share the video with friends, family, and the people on the internet. It all helps me out a whole bunch and will bring you more content in the future. If you want to go above and beyond, you can check out the Patreon link down below, and I will be back with more Disco Elysium, the final cut, tomorrow. Until then, have a great time.